dashboard will look like. And it'll give you information about how students are doing major referrals versus minor, our major referrals by location, by problem behavior, and then just kind of where you are as far as trends go. So it's a great kind of snapshot view as to how you're doing as a campus at that moment as far as discipline. So other reports can be seen at the bottom, and these reports can be favorited by clicking that orange star that's there. And then again, those reports are going to be ones you can see right here on this dashboard. So that's the great way to do that. Also, these reports, you can take them and easily take a screenshot of them. And that's something that you could take to your PBIS leadership group or even take to your staff to really make those decisions utilizing that data. The second thing we talked about is that it is customizable. We know every school is unique and it has very specific needs. And with our ARS, it really allows you to do that. Your behaviors that you're going to see at a campus, it's going to be maybe an elementary, is going to be very different than a campus that is a high school. And so you can label those specific behaviors that we are working on and the locations of your building. Again, we know every building is a little different, especially now that you might be working virtually. One of those locations might be in your Zoom room or your Google Classroom. So these things can be set up exactly to your specifications, and you can label things at the exact name that you need them to be called. If you called them discipline referrals, or you can see here, we call them major referrals or minor referrals. All of those things can be specified here. And also as far as who has viewing rights to all of that information. Is that something you want all of your staff to see or only specific people? So lots of really great features there in our ARS. Is going to start us off at number 10. So India is going to take us next to number 9.
So number 9 is check in, check out. You know, if you're using check in, check out as part of your interventions, maybe for tier 2 or tier 3 students, the great thing is it often works. The not so great thing about it is that piece of paper that has to go with that student from coach to teacher, and then back to the coach to be checked out. Well, the great thing about PBIS Rewards, we have a feature already built in that can allow you to do check-in, check-out completely digitally. It is so efficient. The dog can't eat it. It can't fly out the bus window, okay? You can basically keep all of the information for the students right there within the system. The other thing is this allows you to have applicable goals to each student, as well as to be able to track data. So the great thing is you are able to utilize the check-in, check-out feature on the web portal and also on the app, okay? Whether you are the check-in, check-out coach, you'll be able to utilize the web portal and the app to check in and then also check out students. And if you're a teacher who has a student that you're utilizing check-in, check-out with, you're able to do all of the scoring each day right there within the system, whether you're using the web portal or the app. Super simple, and sometimes what used to take minutes can now take seconds. The other thing is every time you're utilizing check-in, check-out, you are creating different reports that will give you data for not just each particular student, but also a collective overview for all of the students. So there are several check-in, check-out reports that you're able to review and utilize to make data-driven decisions. And so the great thing is you can customize the check-in, check-out options to work exactly how you need it to work for your school or organization. The first thing you can do is when you go to the main menu, you're going to click on settings. And then after you do that, you're going to click on the check-in, check-out options. It's the little circle with the check mark next to it. And the great thing is if you're like, you know what, our school doesn't want to use that feature, you can just click that box next to where it says active. Just turn it off. And then that way you won't see anything that has to do with check-in, check-out in your main menu, okay? But if you do decide that this is a feature you want to use, then you'll want to click right there next to active to make the feature active. Then you can start customizing all the different things that you need for your school. You can decide what you want the maximum number of goals to be. You can decide what system you want to use for the teacher check-in. Do you want to have a 1, 2, 3 system for the scoring, or 0, 1, 2? And we find a lot of schools do like to use the 1, 2, 3 because they want to at least give the students a point for even being on a plan, for even attempting to do something with check in, check out. So for the simple fact that they're attempting to do an intervention, they want to at least give them a point for that. The other thing that you can do is you can edit and customize what goals you want to be able to choose from for your students that match perfectly with your school expectations. You can delete them, you can have them active, you can have them be required. You just have a lot of different options as far as how you can set up all of your different parts of the check-in, check-out feature. We love this. And the great thing is it is not an extra fee. It comes right along with the program. And like we said, if it's something you don't want to use, you just basically click off that active and it won't even show to your staff.
Okay, so number 8 is one of our newer features is our SEL feature, our social emotional feature. And this is something that can be done by staff members. They can check in on students to see their SEL status. And now we have also rolled out our student SelfSEL Check that allows students to check in and tell us how they're doing. So anytime you see this icon that is a heart with a check in it, that's going to be anything associated with our SEL, because we're really checking on students' hearts. The reason that we really love this are that we can check in on the web portal or the app, and that goes for staff members. And if you allow students to check in, they can do it both places. It is fully customizable and with both, and it really allows us again to drill down to make decisions about what is best for our students and help with those interventions. So when we look at those things, this first one is on the staff side. We know that most staff members are going to spend their time here on our groups page most of the day. So that SEL heart can be selected right there. I'm sorry, the L stands for learning, social emotional learning. So with that, when that's selected, you can also select a student, and then this box will come up and it allows us to make the decision about how that student is doing with their social emotional status at that time. If you're not clear exactly, maybe the difference between stressed and anger, then you can click that box here that says SEL Guide. And that is going to be information that will say at the stress level, this is the look fors as far as the emotions go, and then what are some listen fors and some visible emotions. So it really helps to maintain that consistency across your campus, or if you're working virtually, this really helps with all of those teachers being able to speak the same language about those students. So once they select that, they can add a comment in there, that's optional, and they can submit that social emotional status for the student. Now this can also be done on the app, which is really great when you're on the go. If you are working with students in your classroom, then this is a really great way. You could stand at your door and you could kind of check in with students, and you could do that on your phone or as you're walking around your classroom. This is a really great option as well. So it's just a couple of clicks away right there on the app. Again, we really try at PBIS Rewards to make this fully customizable so that it works the best that it can for your school. And just like the other features that we've talked about, this can be turned on or turned off with these simple checks that say active. So we reach this by going to that options menu India just talked about, and we've come down here to this one that says SEL Check. And then all these things can be customized. If you're following a very specific SEL curriculum, you can change any of the colors, you can change the wording, you can change any of these things, including the risk levels the visible emotions, the look and listen fors. Everything in here can be updated and changed to your needs. And then that really allows you to make it fit exactly for your students and your staff. Once those things are in there, also we have on the student SelfSEL side, it's just below this, we even have de-escalation strategies that you can utilize what we have in there as an example, or you can customize those as well. And those are options given to students if they check in on what you have set as a medium or high level risk. They are given the option of those de-escalation strategies to hopefully get them back to a low risk or a no risk. So with this one, then you can also see that we have some data that's going to be visible here. And this is one of our favorite reports. This is called a high frequency report. So these are our students that we're the most concerned with. So they're going to have gone the longest amount of days, and they're going to have the highest risk level that has been submitted. So as a counselor or as an administrator or social worker at a campus, this is a great report because it allows you to see those students that have the highest need and to know those are the ones you might need to talk to first. So this is a great report that we have in our options, on the SEL reports. And then once you see these options, let's say this has even our student ID numbers here. Then for this particular student here, you can see for Samantha, we can even click on her name specifically and drill down to look at just Samantha. So telling us about how she's doing as an individual student. Again, helping us plan those interventions and knowing how we can really help those students be more successful. So I see a question over here in the chat. Catherine, you asked, will teachers be able to see this information? Yes, teachers will be able to see this when they scan a student badge or when they search for a student. They can update that social emotional status, and you can decide who can see that. There's a setting in here whether that is going to be visible to all staff members. If you have only that student in a group, so that's someone that you see on a daily basis, or is it only going to be certain staff members that can see that, maybe the counselor or admin, something like that. So there are settings in there for that as well. And then Caitlin, you had a question about certain students prompted to do the SEL check without them doing it on their own. On the student SEL side, you can decide how many student SEL checks they can complete during the day. And if they try to go back in and do another one within that time limit, it'll tell them your next SEL check can be done in 15 minutes. So that they know they can't just check in every 5 minutes when they're doing that on the web portal. So it does kind of give them that kind of information. It does not send them a notification through their web portal or through their app, but they can see that on the very front page of that. Okay, and then that was kind of a question about giving them a prompt. Okay, Andy, anything else I missed?
Well, I love that Caitlin was making sure to reiterate, are they given a prompt or reminder to do this? No, they are not giving a prompt or reminder through the PBIS Rewards system for them to do it themselves. But like Anna said, you all can decide how many you want them to be able to do per day. You can also decide the frequency that you want in between those different checks that you set up, but the system does not remind them to do so. The great thing is, though, any staff member is able to do a SEL check for the students that they have. They can do a SEL check, and they can do that as many times as necessary. They can do that as frequently as necessary. So what the teachers might do is if there's certain students who haven't, they would probably have to take it upon themselves for that reminder, or just have that be a moment to reach out and to check in with the student, either verbally or with an email or whatever. And then the information that the student gives them, they can submit that SEL check information for them. But no, the system itself does not give them a specific reminder to do their own checks. Good question.
And thanks, Ms. McKenzie, about the feedback that you started using this at your school. and you thought it was a good one for students, to let us know. That's really great. Thank you so much. All right, number 7 is our next one, and that is reports. This is a great part of the PBIS Rewards system, is that it really allows you to make those decisions, not kind of based on intuition and our hunches, but really making those decisions based on our data. And so we really like these 3 parts of reports. Looking at the different types of access, we have an admin access and a staff access. And again, allowing us to drill down and really look at where can we make changes and where can we go back and do some reteaching. We might have to do some very specific lessons again with our specific students, or do we need to do that as an entire school? And then that student dashboard is really one of our favorites. So looking at those different levels of access, this is the dashboard in reports if you have admin level access. So again, this is kind of like a snapshot dashboard in reports. So you can see about the referrals that you have going on. Here's just a little snapshot about the points that are being rewarded. We can see here our 7th grade is really knocking it out of the park. We're not doing too good with 8th grade, and 6th grade, we have nothing. So that really would tell us where we need to do some work with our staff. And then these are favorited reports. So ones that I look at all the time, I don't have to go search for them. I can just have them right here on this dashboard. And then each of these are different types of reports. We can look at things based on reports for points, interventions, which are our check-in, check-out reports, and some SEL is in there, our referral reports, redeem reports, and end of the year. So it gives us a lot of options of different things to see. Now that is going to be different because admin is going to have that school-wide view. It's really going to allow them to have that super deep dive into those different types of reports. Now this is staff level access. So they can also favorite different reports that they have. However, at the staff level, they're only going to see information about their points and their problem behaviors and how that is reflected just for their own students, instead of seeing it as a campus-wide view. So it still allows, though, our staff members to be able to look at their specific data and to use that to make decisions, plan for interventions, take that information to parent meetings. This is really great information to be able to utilize in lots of different ways. Then we just talked about the ability to drill down and look at those things that concern us. If we are looking at things for our campus, and let's say this bar back here, this is our biggest number of major referrals, which has to do with the building rules. You can see at the bottom, this is where we have had 15 major referrals. And so it's really great to be able to click on that 15 and see what are those 15 major referrals, what were they for? So as that pulls up, I can see each of those referrals here, and I can kind of get some information about staff members, the day and time, the location, what was the problem, grade level, and then what administrative action was taken. So there's lots of data that's right there at my fingertips. It really helps me make those kind of decisions. And if I wanted to drill down even more, then I could click on this information. I can see Keith Gardner has several of these referrals. So I want to look a little more at Keith. And so that then would take us here. This is Keith's individual student dashboard. I can click on his name and it brings me right here. Well, I can see his points. I can see his interventions. He's on the check-in, check-out plan. I can see his last social emotional check. And I can see his referrals. Woo, he has had 37 major referrals and 0 minors. So we're letting him, he has all kinds of major issues and we're not looking at anything that's happening before that point. So what can we do for him? And so we can drill down even more and look at his referral by problem behavior. We can even look at the day and time. You know, is it tough for him when he comes back on Mondays from being at a different parent's house? Is it tough for him on these specific times during the day because there may be a peer issue? It really allows us to make those decisions, or what's happening in the classroom and the cafeteria. That's our two highest number of referrals that he has. So that tells me where we need to address that with him as well. So digging down deeper and deeper with our students and having that information. And then even at the bottom of this same page, I just took a little screenshot of this. It tells you about each one of his referrals. So you can really get exact details of that. So really having that eye-opening information about that one specific student. And again, we have this on all students. The system is always collecting this kind of data for you. All right, India, you're here, number 6.
All right, you guys, we are almost halfway through our top 10 favorite features. And number 6 is communication. Yes, you can use PBIS Rewards, y'all, to communicate with your parents and then also with other staff members. The great thing is you can utilize the staff web portal or app to do that. You can also use the web portal to provide a QR code for your parents to be able to gain access to the parent app. And then this is just a great way to share different insights going on with the students with their parents or families. So actually, if you are utilizing the web portal to communicate with your parents and also to send them that initial QR code letter so that they can access the parent app, you're going to go to that same main menu and you're going to click on Parent Link. Once you click on that, you can start a new message to the family. You could also look at messages that were already sent, as well as if you click on that Manage Parents button, that's where you can access the customizable letter that you would email, or you can text, or you can just hand physically after you print out to a family so that they can get access to the parent app, because that's where all their communication is going to go. It's going to go directly to that PBIS Rewards parent app. So this is a great feature for you to be able to use. And the great thing is you don't have to just use the web portal to get that communication and keep it going. You can use the staff app as well. And there's kind of an image of what that looks like. And this is just a great way to just keep your parents in the loop, okay? There's an image right there to show what that letter looks like. You can customize it, but it's got that QR code for them to scan. And then once they do that, they have to first download the app to their device that they're going to use, and then they will, from the app, scan that QR code. Now, like we said before, that information, the whole letter itself, can be emailed to them, but you can also text the information to them, okay? And it's just a great way to really keep them in the loop. And we kind of wanted to throw another little sidebar to you in our latest release, where you can also kind of keep things going with the students. There's now within the student app an option to where you can get access to a digital badge from that student's app that you can then use to be able to scan with your device different things for the student that you definitely will be sending forward in the parent app. Okay, so how do you get all of the parent info downloaded into the system? Hey, that's our developers' job. They get all that stuff done for you. The app just does that automatically for them. So that's the great thing. It's a one-stop shop. They don't have to check their email for this. They don't have to, go to their phone for that. Anything about PBIS Rewards, any information you have in there that they need, they're going to be able to see. They're going to be able to see point details. If you've got student purchasing turned on, they can see what their student has purchased. They can see what are in the stores that apply to their child. They can see upcoming events. They can see upcoming raffles. Also, if you're using the ARS system, they can see referral information. The one thing that parents will not be able to see through the app is going to be that SEL information, that social emotional learning information, because a lot of times what the student is going through, the parents may not need to know. And that's up to the school to be able to decide if the parent needs to know. So that's why all of that SEL information you're gathering, if you're utilizing that feature, that's the only thing the parents really won't be able to see.
And then Catherine, your other part of that question, that contact information, that's part of what we call our launch process. when a school signs up with us, we help them upload all of that information from their school management system into PBIS Rewards. So that uploads staff names and information, student data, and then also parent information.
Absolutely. Or we can also work with, so we can get that information from your school's learning management system. We can use Clever. We can use ClassLink. We can also take a CSV file that maybe comes directly from your school or your district and just upload the information like that. And you can also do it the old-fashioned one-by-one manual way if you've got plenty of time to do that. But we do have lots of options to get that information in there. Good question.
All right, halfway, India, you got it.
We are there, y'all. Whoop, whoop. We are halfway there. And this is probably one of my favorites. But we're going to put it halfway there because there are some other things we feel are truly, truly game changers with the system. But if you are trying to build staff buy-in, teacher buy-in for PBIS and PBIS rewards, an easy way to do it, y'all, workplace rewards for teachers, okay? This is a feature that's already included in the PBIS reward system. It's not an additional fee. It doesn't cost anything extra, but basically everything that you can do for your students with PBIS rewards, you can do for your staff with workplace rewards for teachers, okay? So if you want to give them the feels of what PBIS rewards feels like for the students, you can use workplace rewards for teachers to do that. If you want them to get points, they can request and recommend points, request them for themselves and recommend them for other staff members. And then also, if you want to give them a way to redeem points, we've got plenty of ways that they can redeem those points. And you can really build that buy-in as well as just say thank you on a daily basis for all of the hard work that they are doing. So like we said, it's an easy way to give them the feels. You can set up different incentives, events, and other types of things that they can really enjoy. And we don't want you to reinvent the wheel. We've got two ways that you can basically not have to think too hard. We're going to put in the chat the ultimate list of teacher incentives. Hundreds, wouldn't you say, Anna? Hundreds of ideas of things that you can do to motivate and encourage your staff, okay? And then another thing that we personally use as well, especially if you follow Instagram, the great thing is you can follow those hashtags. So utilize like hashtag PBIS or, hashtag PBIS incentives or teacher incentives. You follow those hashtags and let me tell you, you will see all types of great ideas come right there in your Instagram feed to be able to see that, just to get some ideas of what might work for your staff and really encourage them and build that staff and teacher buy-in. And like we said, it's already included in your PBIS reward system. It's not an additional fee. You get to it very simply. We're going back to that main menu again, and you're going to look for the little star because your staff is full of stars, superstars. So you're going to click on the teacher rewards button right there with the star, and then it will open up in a new tab for you. The great thing is, like we said before, your teachers will be able to request points for themselves. They can also recommend points for other staff members. And right here on the front, you can also post encouraging messages or announcements for your staff as well. And beyond the receiving of the points or earning of the points, you can also set up different ways for your staff to redeem the points. So just like the students can have stores, you can have a teacher store where they can purchase things with their points. Just like you can have events for your students in PBIS Rewards, you can have events for your teachers. Maybe it's something as simple as Jeans Friday or something. And so they can use their points to maybe participate in wearing jeans on Fridays. You also can have raffles for students. Guess what? You can have raffles for teachers and the workplace rewards for teachers. And then here's the extra thing. Students don't get auctions. Teachers can, staff members can. So another redeeming option that you do have within Workplace Rewards for Teachers is to set up auctions for your staff. like we said before, if you're looking for an easy way to really build that staff buy-in, consider utilizing workplace rewards for teachers. And so this is another one of our personal favorites. Number 4, badges. This really allows you to be able to reward and redeem things for your students anytime and anywhere. They're great because if you don't have the time to make your own badges, great. We can make them here for you at our company. We can send them to you. They're nice quality. We can also throw in some lanyards if you want for an additional fee. But the great thing is you don't need for us to do that. You can actually customize and print your own badges just within the system for free. And you can print them on just about anything. And we'll look at some of those options. You can print them on plastic, you can print them on stickers, whatever you want. And it's all free. This is also a great way for you to foster those positive relationships, especially if you're in the brick and mortar setting, because you can go up to the student, talk to the student, make eye contact, and then you can say, may I see your badge? You can use the badge to then scan the points with the app. So it really does foster those kind of positive relationships, especially in that brick and mortar setting, to utilize the badges. And then this brand new feature that literally just came out, the enhancement of the digital badges, which I talked about a little earlier, where the students can open the student app and you can get access to a digital badge right there for each student. So now in order to customize and print the badges, you have to use the staff web portal. So once again, we would navigate to that main menu and click on the little printer where it says ID badges. And I'm telling you, if they make an Avery label, you can print your badge information on it. We have every type of format you could think about. You can decide what information you want to show. I know so there's been some people that's really bringing up great points about student privacy. So you can decide, maybe you just want the QR code, the student's picture, and their first and last name. You can decide all the information that you want to include or not include on the labels as well as the layout, okay? And the great thing is, not only can you make badges for your students, you can make badges for your staff. Yes, you can. Okay, so this is a great way to save money and to be able to easily not only recognize your students and your staff and build up, you know, that safety and security, but it also makes giving points and redeeming points really easy. So even though we're talking a lot about badges, because you do have that customizable option, we do want you to kind of think outside the traditional plastic badge inside of that lanyard, okay? If you want to, what we see a lot of schools doing, if you're one-on-one devices in a brick and mortar setting, print off that information on a sticker and just stick it on the device. That way, while you're walking around and the students are doing what they should be, following expectations, just take your mobile device and boom, you get a point for that. Boom, you're following expectations. Boom. And you can just scan them right there off of their device. Also, if you really want to encourage giving students points for bringing in homework, for having parents signing the agenda books, you can definitely also stick those same labels onto the agenda book or onto the homework folder or binder. And once again, as soon as they turn it in, boom, let me give you some points for that. Another thing to think about is having them actually right where the students sit, so you can once again scan those badges with ease. And then there's another option to where you can actually print off a PDF, and Anna, I think, will show us this live in the system a little bit later. But you can print off a PDF that has all the students' QR codes in that group or class, as well as one for the entire group up in the upper left. You can actually post that outside of your classroom if you're in the brick and mortar setting, and when other people come around and see your students doing the right thing, they can actually scan those QR codes right there outside of your classroom. You can also use that same PDF right next to you in a virtual learning setting. And so while the students are doing what they should in your Zoom room, you can, boom, use that mobile device and be scanning each QR code, giving those students points right as you continue to teach. So really, we can't say enough about the beauty of badges, but we also want you to think outside the traditional badge. So the other thing, number 3, you all, is the 3 big hitters. Redeeming, okay? It's great to earn points, but they kind of lose their power when students never get a chance to use them. So, right within the PBIS reward system, we have 3 easy ways that students are able to redeem their points. Probably one of the most popular is number 2, stores. And the great thing is you have 2 options. You can have a school-wide store, and each staff member can also have their own My Store. Okay, so stores are definitely a way to set things up. And they don't always have to be tangible things that cost you money. It can be experiences, like having lunch with a teacher. It could be a privilege, such as a homework pass. So you can really think outside the traditional tangible things as well as you set up your school store and your My Store. There's also options for raffles and events, and these work the same way. You can have school-wide raffles and events, and you can also have your own personal raffles and events for your students. And probably the main reason that a lot of schools utilize PBIS rewards is for the rewarding, for the acknowledging with the use of students. And the beautiful thing is you can use the app or the web portal to reward the students. Any staff member can reward any student, and there's a beauty of the flexibility that comes along with being able to utilize the app and the web portal to give those students those points. We don't have to worry about cutting things out, the little tokens and the dollars. In fact, this company itself was started because there was a school here in the Evansville area that had students gambling for the bucks in the bathroom. They were stealing them out of each other's backpacks. And so now being able to have this option digitally changed the entire culture of the school, okay? And that's the goal, creating that positive climate for your whole school, all right? And the great thing is rewarding digitally with PBS Rewards really helps you do that. But, all right, here you go, guys. What is going to be our number 1? Anna, tell them how we want them to let us know what their guess is.
They can shout it out. You can unmute. You can put it in the chat. We'd love to hear your guesses, what you think our number 1 will be. Look, she's giving us the eyebrows. She doesn't know.
You don't know, Rebecca? What do you think?
With your mask on. Any guesses?
Any guesses? We've had ARS, check in, check out. What else have we talked about? Workplace rewards for teachers, redeeming. Any ideas? Okay, Anna, I think it's time for the big reveal. They're ready.
Right.
Drum roll, please.
All right, groups. It is definitely our number 1, right, India? So we love the groups page because there is so much function and so many features that you can do right there from the groups page, whether you're in the app or the web portal, and any member of your staff can reward any student, and there's so much flexibility there. So we thought what would be easiest is if we went into the system, and we're going to talk to you about redeeming, rewarding, and groups. You can really see what it looks like in the system. So I'm going to go to that now. Let me pull that over and give you a few insights to those. So I'm going to actually start with number 1. So starting with groups, that is going to be the second tab down on the left-hand side when you come to PBIS Rewards. So in groups, teachers and staff members, if you are synced with ClassLink or Clever, those classes that you are synced with are going to appear here. And this would be like my online learning, my reading, and my yearbook club. If you are not synced with one of those, or let's say if I have to cover a class maybe for India, she's going to be out for a little bit, I can access all the user groups for my entire school in this category right here. I can click on that little caret right there, and then here are all of those other options. So if I click this favorite orange star at the top, then that group is now going to appear up here at the top. Now, the great thing about this is that group will also then appear on my phone, on the app. When I want to reward groups on my phone, I can easily do those groups from that simple device. So I am going to go into one of my groups, my reading group as an example. And here in the reading groups, in this group, we have lots of different options. This number that's at the top, that tells us how many points students have. And so that's like their points backpack. They take that, we're with them wherever they go. And so you can see for Casey, she has 14 points that she has earned so far. Now, when she goes to India's class, she's going to take all 14 of those points with her. If she wants to spend out of that backpack of points, this number then will change. I can easily, one of my favorite things is that I can select all my students. I can decide which one of the expectations they're following. They're all brought their homework back as an example, or they all showed up to the Zoom meeting on time, and I can reward them. Boom, all of them at one time. It's a huge time saver. So that is one of our favorite things to do here. One of our other little hacks that we love is that if we select all of our students and we need someone to run an errand for us, I can select this random button, and then I have my student right there, Mr. Dixon, you're going to be the one to run down to the office for me. So there's no more saying you pick him over me or you always pick this person. The system can pick the student for you, replacing that little can of sticks I used to have on my desk with every student's name on it. I had to make them over every year. Get rid of that. Let us do this for you. So the other thing we talked about, that SEL check, that can be done right here from the groups page. That is a really fantastic one. I'm going to deselect everybody. If I have a student that's not at school, I can select that student and click right here that says toggle presence. And then that student, you can see now, is going to be grayed out. So it says not present. So when I do select all my students and give them points, that student will not receive those points. But just like we know students go back and forth, I can easily select that student, click toggle presence, and now they're right back in my class. So those are some great options. India talked to you about communication. You can do that right here from the groups page. If you have our advanced referral system, which was our number 10, that can be done here. You could write a minor or major referral. That's really great. And India did talk about that PDF you could print out and easily scan those QR codes. And I just went to that settings. And you can see right here, it pulls up a PDF I can print out, and I can have this next to me at my desk while I'm teaching virtually. I can have this hanging outside, and I can easily scan those QR codes to give points. Or if I want to give points to everybody, I can scan that reading one at the top. Boom, everybody gets a point. So really great shortcut there. And then my final thing I really love on the groups page is this menu, the redeem menu. So if you want students to be able to redeem their points, your first option here is through the teacher, my store, my events, and my raffle. So those are just for students that have you only as a teacher. And then below the line, these are for the school. So the school store, school events, and school raffles. So that would be visible to all staff members. And if you decide to turn on student purchasing, then students would be able to make purchases from these items that are here as well. So again, that can be turned on or off. That's completely up to you. So this is the reason that we love the groups page, because there's so many things you can do right here, just to name a few. So once students have earned points, I'm going to come over here to the left side menu again, and our redeem features are right in a row: stores, events, and raffles. So let's go to stores first, because India said that was her favorite, because most schools have a store. And because I have admin privileges, you can see I have the school store, and then here's my individual teacher store. They're laid out very similar. It's just who has access to view those. I'm going to go to the school store and just show you a couple of things. Here in the school store, you can have categories of prizes. for your students. So you can set it up by grade level. If you want to do, let's say, if you're a kinder through 8th grade school, we know what they like at kinder is very different than what they like at 8th grade. So you could have grade specific categories that are here for students to shop in, or you could separate it by the type of prize that it is, just kind of like the grocery store. So here are my prizes that are all experiences. And the number at the top is the cost in points for those items. So you can see that's how the rest of my store is organized. We can even add pictures to this, and this is really great for our young kiddos that are just starting to read. If they can't read the descriptions that are underneath it, they can view this right here in the store on your screen, and they can shop by using the pictures. That's a really great option. And this is even a place you can check out your students in the store. I could select high five, and then right down here at the bottom where it says check out, I can select that, and then I can search for my student. Let's see, that I was just looking at Casey, and then Casey has 38 points, so I can purchase that item right here. So that can be done right here in the school store, and all of those things about the store can be done here in editing the store. So this is how you add items to the store, you change the photos, you can delete things. All of that can be done here in editing the store. All right, India, can I go ahead and go on to events and raffles?
Well, it's 1:56 our time right now, so we may need to, better yet, invite some people to some of our other upcoming trainings to learn even more
I
about
think
these
so.
redeeming options.
Absolutely. Okay, I'm going to switch back over. All right, so here are our top 10 that we've talked about. India, if you want to talk about that, I'm going to put the link in the chat box.
Absolutely. So we just want to show you once again an entire snapshot of our top 10 favorite features here at PBIS Rewards in order. And so don't worry if you're like, oh my gosh, do I need to take a picture of this? Nope, no worries. If you registered for today's training, you will receive a link to the recording as well as to some other information, including the information on the PowerPoint. So no worries, but we want you to see these features. And if you want to go deeper with any of these, Anna's going to tell us a little bit more later on about some other training opportunities we have coming up. So you may be asking, what now? The first thing we want to make sure you know is if you ever have any questions or concerns or needs, please feel free to check out our support page. You can see videos, you can see guides, you can also do our Explorer series, which can automatically give you PD credit just for reading articles. You can also have live chats with our support team, who is amazing. So please make sure to click on the link to the support page so that you can get all of the support you need after today's training. And we also have two other options if you really want to go deeper with PBIS and PBIS Rewards. They include our Voyage and our Expedition. Voyage is asynchronous. It's modules you can do at your own pace. You have 14 days after you open it up and start it. It's very affordable at $25. And the great thing is it goes really deep with PBIS and PBIS Rewards at your own pace. But if you want to also add a live piece to it with being able to train with us, you can also do the Expedition. Our next one's coming up April 6th through the 8th. It's over 3 days, but basically you only want to be with us for the Zoom in the morning and the Zoom in the afternoon over those 3 days. The rest of the time is just up to you to go through modules at your own pace. And the great thing is we got a deal for y'all. We want to see you so much more after today that we are now doing a buy one, get one free. So if you want to do some training with a staff member or a friend, definitely take advantage of this buy one, get one free option for the Expedition. And if anyone else has actually done the Expedition, feel free to give us a reaction, hand up or thumbs up, or you can, just kind of turn your camera on and just kind of wave to let us know if you've already done an Expedition before.
Oh, not yet.
All right. Well, we'd love to see you at our next one in April.
And this is the calendar India was talking about. I'm also going to put the link over there in the chat. These are the free trainings that are also coming up. We're so glad that you were able to join us today, but we also have office hours, and those are 20-minute blocks that you can sign up for some time to chat with Indy and I. We can help you with any issues that you're running into. We can troubleshoot things with you. Our sessions that are training are mostly free, so we'd love for you to join us there and keep an eye out for other trainings that are coming up. And then if you haven't been able to join us on our Facebook page, we would love that. We call it the PBIS Rewards breakout room, or excuse me, break room. And this is a great place for us to get feedback from everybody on features that you like to see or new ideas that we might have, and also for people to kind of troubleshoot things that they're working on. We've had lots of discussions about how their stores are set up and given ideas and different pictures and things like that. So we would love for you to join us there on Facebook to kind of keep the party going. And finally, woo, man, right into home plate at 2 o'clock, boom. We want to say thank you so much for being with us today. There's a short survey. We would love for you to tell us what you liked today, if there's anything we could change to make it better. But we really appreciate you being here today and learning about our top 10 favorites. We tried to squeeze as much as we could into the hour. You can see we ran a little short on time, but we really want to give you as much information as possible so you can really make PBIS Rewards work for your school and your district. Please don't hesitate to reach out to Indy and I. Our email address is listed right there. We are happy to help you with anything. So thank you so much again for joining us today. And if you have anything, stay on. We'll be happy to help. And if not, good luck with everything. And we cannot wait to hear about your wonderful successes with PBIS Rewards. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks. Have a